Welcome back to the Stack Shack Sports Podcast, where we talk about everything in the world of sports. Today is an exciting day. Last night, the beginning of the NBA season, we had two great games. I enjoyed watching both of them, and I have some just initial thoughts, some knee-jerk reactions. One game in, we're already making some knee-jerk reactions. Let's start with the first game. Lakers, Nuggets, kind of a rematch there of the conference finals. A return to form for Jokic and Murray and company, and, a look at what this Lakers team might be. Well, what I found out is I think this Lakers team looks exactly like they did last season. They're going to go as far as Anthony Davis can take them, and they're going to be as good as LeBron can stay healthy. And when LeBron's on the court, they're pretty good. When Anthony Davis takes over the game, they can be good. If either of those players are not productive, or if LeBron needs a breather, they're bad. And it really looked almost identical to the Western Conference Finals games. It was, Nuggets come off hot, get out to an early lead, Lakers kind of come storming back, and then in the fourth quarter, there's just not enough. Not enough in the tank. The better team wins. The Nuggets are better than the Lakers. And there's just a terrible point differential if LeBron's not on the floor. I think at one point it was minus 14 Lakers when LeBron was not on the floor, plus 1 Lakers when he was on the court. And that's really what they are. If he's on the floor, they can compete. I don't know if they're necessarily beating, right? It's plus 1. Could go either way. If he's off the floor, they're just going to get smoked by any of the good teams. And that's where the Lakers are. They do not have a great shooting offense. D'Angelo Russell is still D'Angelo Russell. Shot terribly. Played a bunch of minutes. Took a bunch of shots. Scored 11 points or something like that. It was just typical D'Angelo Russell. He hasn't been a good shooter for a while. I don't know what exactly happened, but that's just where they're at. Austin Reeves, kind of a non-factor. Kind of went, I don't know, I just feel like they give him this big contract. He had some big moments in the playoffs, but then he kind of reverted back to typical Austin Reeves. I mean, if you look at his stats here, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Kind of pedestrian. Now, Anthony Davis, it's another great example. When Anthony Davis is not putting out points, you're in trouble. 17 points. And the crazy thing about Anthony Davis's 17 points is I think almost all, if not all of those, came in like the first half or maybe even the first quarter. Prince is scoring more points than Anthony Davis. What are we doing? What are we doing? In less minutes, too. Reeves is not particularly explosive. You've got LeBron going for 20. 8 boards, 5 assists in 29 minutes. That's great basketball. Now, Gabe Vincent, I think, could give him some stuff. 6 points. I think they need to get him more involved. Rui. 6 points, 15 minutes. He plays 30, averages the same. He's going 12. He's getting more points than Russell. He's getting more points potentially than Austin Reeves. It's close. We got to stop playing Russell so many minutes if you're a Lakers fan. And got to hope that Rui and Gabe Vincent can make some moves. I think Gabe Vincent was a good pickup. Scored 6 points. But 1 rebound, 2 assists. Just, I forgot these guys were even out there. It was a lot of Prince, James, Davis, Russell kind of dominating, I felt like, the ball and the shots and the looks. I don't think who should be dominating the ball, but also it's LeBron is the only hope for the Lakers. He has to carry them because Anthony Davis is not helping anybody out. And that's problematic. That's dangerous. And that's where the Lakers are. That's where they were last postseason. When Anthony Davis played really well, he actually played very well against the Warriors. They beat the Warriors. Played pretty well in like that play-in game, right? Those upsets, and then in the Nuggets, he just kind of disappeared in some spots. And last night, once again, disappeared in some spots. If you're a Nuggets fan, wow. Return to form. Jokic, almost another 30-point triple-double. The dude's a walking triple-double. Michael Porter shot pretty well. Got 12 boards. That's great. Caldwell Pope. Jamal Murray, not his greatest night, but pretty solid. They have this starting five of Gordon, Porter, Jokic, Caldwell Pope, Jamal Murray. That top-end five players, really good. They're the best in the league. And I know right now, there's a lot of money on, Bucks and things of that nature coming out to the offseason. Some Celtics money. But this is the best five players right there. There it is. And they all performed really well. Played over 30 minutes. Porter was very productive. 12 boards and 12 points. Fantastic. Little double-double. Aaron Gordon's close to a double-double. Needs a couple more boards. Murray and Pope put some points on the board, and there you go. They're the better team. Now, bench play. Interesting for the bench. I like Brown. Sorry. I always want to call him Braun, but it's Brown. Christian Brown, because that definitely says Brown. Sorry. I don't mean to make fun of your name, but it's funny. Brown is good. I think he's a great player. Probably should be used a little more. He had some great moments there in the finals, as well as against the Lakers. So I think you got to use him more. And Reggie Jackson, I think he's a decent new player to slot in there. But after that, I'm not seeing a lot from the rest of the team. I'm curious to see how deep they'll go on the bench. That would be my only concern about the Nuggets. Should somebody get hurt or, should they run into a team or run into some foul trouble in a big game? I don't know if they got the dudes on the bench to come in. I don't know how good that second unit is. It's going to require Jokic to play a lot of minutes, Pope to play a lot of minutes. Really, just all the starters are going to have to play a lot of minutes. And that can be taxing over the course of a season. So that would be the only concern for the Nuggets. But, man, they looked in mid-season form, basically. Came out, energized, jumped out to a big lead, withstood the storm of LeBron James coming back, and got the win. Looked like the better team, felt like the better team. Didn't really feel like the game was really ever in question, even though it did get a little close there for a minute. That starting five is great. Can they get some bench help? I think over the course of the season, and there's still opportunity to make a few moves, right? But I think over the course of this season, they're going to perform. And maybe they can get a little bit of, more out of Watson or maybe some of these players that didn't play much. Key, Pickett, Gillespie. Maybe they can get a little something out of them. That might help them out. So Nuggets, I think they should be the favorites for winning the title again this year, and even if they aren't. And I think they're still my pick probably to win the title, although I think the next two teams are particularly interesting. And we'll have to see, Celtics and Knicks and some other teams are all playing. It's the first game. So we got a lot of games to play, got a lot of teams to see. I want to see what the Bucks look like with Dame. We got to see some stuff, but Nuggets looked about how I expected them to do. Beat the Lakers. They did it a bunch in the conference finals, and there you go. Moving on to our next game. Ooh, this was a juicy one. Warriors, Suns. Let's start with some of the things that we have to acknowledge about this game. And that is, both of these teams come in with some pretty large offseason moves, right? Beal coming in, getting rid of Ayton. Grayson Allen, right, for the Suns. Those kind of being the big moves. No Chris Paul, right? Warriors come in. Oh, we added Chris Paul. And, we lost a couple of small pieces or whatnot. Got an extra big in. Lot of changes here. So I was very excited about this game. This was my favorite game of the night. The game I was most interested in watching. Just because of some of these changes. And, how would Chris Paul fit in with the Warriors? And how would the Suns look without Ayton and without Paul? And would Booker kind of regain that playoff Booker that was just scoring a bunch of points after Paul got hurt? Like, what is the situation here? And I got some answers. And I think the answers are both of these teams are going to be pretty darn good. Suns, no Beal this night. Warriors, no Draymond. I think Draymond being gone hurts the Warriors more than Beal being gone. Just because of the makeup. Draymond's kind of the heart and soul of the Warriors. So, I think Warriors might be hurting a little more. Suns, to me, looks like they're pretty good. I don't know if they took a jump, though. Now, Beal needs to come back, and I need to see Beal in the offense. I think they struggled to get some scoring, besides Booker. Booker went for 32, but nobody else is over 20. You compare that to that Nuggets team, which had a bunch of people over 20. Eric Gordon, I think, is a reasonable pickup, 10 points. Coming off the bench. Grayson Allen, big goose egg for 21 minutes. Played a lot of minutes to not score anything. You got Watanabe. He actually, I think, was surprising. I think the bench, really, Eubanks had some great minutes, especially on defense. 8 boards as well, almost double-digit boards. Nurkic looked good. I don't feel like the Suns team is missing Ayton. I don't. I just don't think they're missing him. Booker looked great. Kevin Durant did not. Warriors played physical with him, and that's kind of been the history of Durant, as he struggles a little bit when you play him physical, when you're really switching those pick and rolls, you're getting up on him, and, all those ball handoffs are being contested. Struggles a little bit, but I was pretty impressed with the Suns. I think they've got a ways to go. To me, I could see the potential there, especially off the bench. Was really impressed with their bench. And you get Beal back to give you some more scoring as another guard. I think that's a good fit. Allow Grayson Allen to really just be the bench player that I think he should be. Gordon, coming off the bench. Gordon was basically playing, starter minutes here. And so, there you go. But Eubanks looked good. Watanabe looked great. Even Goodwin and Little played some meaningful minutes. I mean, look at Goodwin. 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 points, 14 minutes. That's a very productive 14 minutes. So, Suns look good. I think they just need time. They need time to gel. There were some things that felt a little clunky. I'm sure Beal coming in is going to feel a little clunky as well. So give them some time, but I think this team's got potential. And I would echo that exact same thing for the Warriors. And I would actually think I am going to elevate the Warriors above the Suns. Again, I think you look at this situation, the Warriors without Draymond versus the Suns without Beal. The Warriors without Draymond is hurting worse. It hurts them worse. But without Draymond, and in a game where Steph Curry was in foul trouble, like, we do realize that. Steph Curry was in foul trouble for a lot of this game. He's still got 31 minutes, which is, pretty great. But there's key moments. There's moments where he was kind of getting on a roll, getting into a rhythm. It never felt like Curry really got into his rhythm. So in a game where Curry is in foul trouble, that almost never happens. Draymond is not on the floor. They lost by 4 points to a team that everybody thought was really, really good. And I think the thing that I'm most impressed by is Chris Paul coming into this Warriors team. I will admit, and I will reveal my bias here, I am a Warriors fan. But I was not a big fan of the Chris Paul trade. I thought, why do we need another guard? I think we need size. Looney is kind of the only size. What are we doing? But getting rid of Poole was a good move in my opinion. And what Chris Paul does is exactly what we hoped he would do. Stabilize that second group. And that was the problem last season. It was Curry could score, and when he was off the floor, they were in trouble. They were very much like the Lakers with LeBron. And the games where Curry got legitimate scoring from other players, besides himself, Wiggins, Thompson, having those big games, when they had those big games, when Looney had big games, and we can even go back to the Kings series, right? When Curry gets some help, they won. Draymond's not a scorer. Chris Paul can score. He shot pretty terribly in this game. I mean, if you look at the team stats here, the Warriors shot 23% from 3 points. That is not going to happen probably ever again this season. I don't think. And to shoot that bad, I mean, 35% field goal percentage. That's terrible. To shoot that bad and lose by 4? Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, do the Suns have a really dominant big man that could really push the Warriors around? No. But I think you have to be continually proud of Looney. Looney is a staple. Dude's a walking 10 boards at least. Double-digit boards every night. He plays significant minutes. And they were missing him in the playoffs last year with his illness and stuff. But I think the keys that you're looking down is actually a little lower. Saric played some great minutes. Got some boards. Played some defense. Added that other big. After Looney last season, there really was nobody. I mean, it was like Draymond is playing center. Saric, I think, adds a little bit of extra size in the paint. Not a particularly great above-the-rim scorer. I would love to see some improvement there. But from a defensive, from just another body in there, getting boards, pretty good. Kuminga and Moody are the other two main focuses we got to look at. Moody got some big minutes in the playoffs last season and it is quickly becoming one of my favorite players on this team. Comes in, gets points, takes shots, plays good defense, hustles around the court. Great. Kuminga is the player that everybody has been waiting to see him really blossom. And you know what Chris Paul's able to do? I think help Kuminga blossom. I think Kuminga is still pressing too hard. I think he feels the pressure that we all put on him of like, hey, you're a bigger pick. We really need some numbers out of you. 6 boards, 1 assist, 12 points. 12 points. Hey, Kuminga actually did some things. And I think he got better as the game went on. At the beginning, I felt like he was pressing, but later started to look pretty good. Peyton always gives good defensive minutes. Couple of rebounds. Had that kind of almost highlight dunk there that was pretty exciting. Wiggins, I was a little disappointed in. We're going to need more out of Wiggins. Thompson. 7 boards for Thompson. I like it. Thompson, again, I'm not seeing the shooting that maybe I'm used to, but I think they'll get into it. Both of these teams, I think the major takeaway is I see a ton of potential on both of these teams. Get Beal back for the Suns. Woo! Get Draymond back for the Warriors. Are you kidding me? Now, how the rotation will look at the Warriors is Chris Paul going to be okay coming off the bench, running with the second team? How does that work? Fair. There's going to be some conversations there. But I think Paul's going to get up to speed. I also think that the Chris Paul kind of more slow, methodical, set play kind of offense, I think it works well with some of the younger players, the more inexperienced players in that second group that maybe just need things to be slowed down a little bit. I think Kuminga could really help from that. Not trying to press too hard, not trying to play too fast. I'm very impressed with both of these teams. Suns get the win, but, it's a 4-point game coming down to kind of some last shots. 3 goes in for the Suns, doesn't go in for the Warriors. Game could have gone either way. I came away looking at both of these teams as I'm very impressed, and I'm very excited for the rest of the season for both of them. Especially when both of them are at full strength. Cannot wait. Cannot wait for them to be at full strength. I think give both of these teams some time. They might be competing in that Western Conference Championship here towards the end of the year. Nuggets are still really good, but these are two teams, if you're looking for some, maybe teams people aren't talking about enough as potential title contenders, I think both of them are. Lakers, I didn't see anything interesting. I was like, yeah, that looks like the Lakers last season, looks like the Lakers the season before that. If Anthony Davis plays really well, they do well. If LeBron James is healthy and can play a lot of minutes, he can carry. He's still a great player, but they don't really have a lot from anybody else. So they need Austin Reeves to play above himself, or D'Angelo to have a good shooting night, to have an opportunity to beat the better teams. Nuggets, they look really good. That starting five is crazy. Do they have enough bench help will be the big question. We'll have to see. Gabe Vincent was pretty explosive for the Heat last season. Can he recapture some of that? We will have to see. It's going to be an exciting NBA season. Can't wait for tonight's games that, as you're watching this, have probably already finished. So we'll be talking probably about those a little bit moving on. But I wanted to do a full episode just on those first 2 opening nights because I thought that it was a very interesting opening night of basketball. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below who you think is the dark horse for winning the title this year. And what did you think of these two games, the 4 teams that played in them? Any surprises for you out there? I'd love to hear in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow.